Yep, everyone was right. Obsession is the new horror movie that's out that everybody is glazing. People saying it's the best horror movie of the year. And guys, I haven't seen anything early. How some reviewers get invited to movies early. This is not the best horror movie of the year so far. This is the best movie of the year so far. I know my opinion will change once we get, obviously, Spider Man. Obviously. Even still, I can see at the end of the year this being maybe even in my top 5. So, where to even begin, bro? I'll say this first. It is so amazing to me and so inspiring as somebody who wants to make movies, or at least be an actor, that this guy, Curry Barker, made this movie and the estimated budget was 7,500,000 or a million. That's like the estimated budget on Google. That sounds like a lot, but to Hollywood, that is pennies. The look and the style of this movie is so visually interesting. Something as small as the camera movements are even a standout. And let's take Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, for example. And I'm not being a Marvel hater, you know I love Marvel. But this movie had 300 times Obsession's budget. The movie looks like crap, it's poorly written. And, like, no disrespect to Paul Rudd, he's a fine actor and it's kind of the script's fault, but this movie isn't very well acted either. And most of all, the VFX looks terrible, with 300 times Obsession's budget. Obsession is amazing at building tension. And like one amazing scene of this year that I like to point out was in Send Help. The scene with the knife, I'm not going to spoil it, even though it's already like a couple months old. But if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And especially if you saw it in theaters, and especially even more if you're a guy, you know how intense and gripping and how this scene just got your heart pounding. This movie, Obsession, has like 10 of those, where you just know something crazy is about to happen. Another thing I'd like to point out, a lot of people already have, the acting in this movie. First of all, the leading man, Bear, played by Michael Johnston, is so believable in the role. And yeah, part of that is because of the movie's writing. How realistic of a performance he gives before all the crazy stuff starts happening, where he's just a desperate man who just desperately wants Nikki, or in the middle of the movie when things just keep building, or even later on when things get absolutely wild. Now, if you're expecting like a bunch of violent kills and buckets of blood, this isn't that. There's one kind of violent scene that is insane, but there are small, like outbursts of violence. And there are actually a few kills throughout the movie, but I don't think it's even double digits. This is more of like a slow burn, where things build so you believe the characters and it feels real, and you can get invested and you can get scared for their lives. And of course, the performance everybody's talking about in this movie, Indy Neveretti, as Nikki in this movie. And like a lot of people were saying like she could win an Oscar for this movie, and I'm like, yeah, a lot of people say that about a lot of movies. I doubt it. Oh my god. The way she plays this character. She's manic, she's switching up all the time. And it's believable, and it doesn't feel like she's overreacting. Nope. It doesn't feel like she's overacting. And she does some insane stuff in this movie. I don't want to spoil anything too much, but like another cool thing, by the end of this movie, I like how it kind of blurs the line between who's the bad guy, who's the victim. A less good movie would just make Bear the good guy and just make Nikki the bad guy. But there's more nuance to it. And like you've cooked a good movie that like the night after, like later that day into the night, I mean, I'm like itching to go back and rewatch this movie in theaters. Now, because I don't get invited to these for free, and everything is just getting more and more expensive, I'm not gonna go out and see it in theaters again. But as soon as it hits streaming, and like HBO Max or whatever has it, I am watching this. Also, the movie's director is a comedian. So while yes, he does have a really good eye for horror, he's also, like, the movie's funny at times. Something I don't often point out is the movie's score. It's so, like, creepy and it's effective when it needs to be. And like the editing of it with the sound design too. Okay, that sentence didn't make a whole lot of sense, but you'll notice it while watching the movie. Like it'll be all normal and the music will be like, in the background, you don't even notice it. And then something creepy will happen and then it cuts out. It's really cool. Yeah, I didn't have much negative to say with this movie. I loved it. When it comes to Obsession, I'm fully obsessed. But yeah, I loved it. I and a lot of people can't wait to see what this guy does next. He's not only a good director and writer, he also edited the movie. So that too. And I guess this is kind of writing, directing, but whatever. He creates a scary movie that is actually tense without resorting to the same old bag of tricks. The gore is used kind of sparingly but effectively. The jump scares aren't just I'm really loud, I'm getting quieter, near silent. Boo! And you don't have the standard, oh, there's a door here, and then the character closes the door, I'm a dumb character, oh, he's right there! None of that. It's just a really good movie with really, effective scares. All I can say, really, is well done. And now we can't forget the stuff ranking. Last, I'm sorry, Billie Eilish tour movie, it's just not my thing. So I can't really rank it any higher, but it wasn't abysmally terrible. And the reason I'm saying I'm sorry is because it's below Primate. This is just a bad movie, but I was highly entertained. Next up was Mercy, so mid. Just mid. Mike and Nick and Alice, also very mid, but it was funny, I guess. Next up we have one that actually dropped. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. As I see more and more reviews of it, I realize, all the plot holes and just flaws in logic. Next up we have The Bride, and then Scream 7. This might be a hot take, and it's not a knock against Project Hail Mary, but I'm actually ranking it third. I'm sorry, this one was good, and I think it's actually grown on me over time, to the point where I almost considered changing my ranking and now putting it at second, but I just like the two above it better. Send Help was awesome, but my current number one, and I don't even think it's recency bias, Obsession. It was awesome. That's pretty much all I got. Let me know what you thought of Obsession.